Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another Inside the Horseshoe. I'm your host, Matt Beer. And for now, I'm going solo, but fear not, I got Jamie Foxx's Electro behind me to keep me company while we do the show today. Sorry we didn't have a show last week. My internet was screwing up, and I do apologize ahead of time if my internet does decide to screw up. It's not my fault. It is my internet provider, which is unfortunate. I would definitely get another one, but you know what they say, monopolies are a thing when it comes to the internet. So, what we're going to do today until other people get on and join us and talk about the NFL this upcoming season and whatnot is we're going to go over some of the news that broke today and earlier in the week. I'm going to go over predictions from last week as well as this week because we didn't have a show last week. So, I'm going to show you the rankings and all that good stuff. And then we'll get into the show. And I'll talk about the Eagles and Giants game too as well. So we're going to get into it really, really quick. I do want to start off with the Eagles Giants game. So this was a game that we really didn't have a lot of expectations of, or at least I didn't. Didn't look like it was going to be that great of a game because these aren't the best teams in the league. They're in the worst division, and realistically, a game or two going their way could give them the division. They might win it with only 4 or 5 wins, so that is hysterical, but it's true. So we had Carson Wentz going up against Daniel Jones, and as you saw in that TikTok had a grab from overtime, Daniel Jones did have what seemed like a potential 90-yard touchdown run, but he stumbles around like the 12 or 10-yard line, pretty much summing up the last few years of the New York Giants. And I thought that was pretty hysterical. But outside of that, the Eagles, after that first drive, to me anyway, looked lost and confused. They allowed the Giants to get in it and almost win the game. But then Carson Wentz was able to put the team on his back after Ingram dropped a ball that he should have caught, which would have ended the game, and was able to get the win for the Eagles. Some people say it doesn't matter how you win, all that matters is a win. It was an ugly win, but you know what? It was a pretty fun game all around, I thought. Carson Wentz played really well as far as his yards go. I think he had over 300 passing yards, which is pretty crazy. And for a second, I thought, yeah, they were going to lose to the Giants, and the Giants were going to be tied for first, but that didn't happen. So there was that, and hysterically, there could be a three-way tie for second next week, depending on what, or I guess a two-way tie, depending on if Washington wins against the Cowboys for second place, as Eagles will barely have that number one spot due to the tie. So that's hysterical. Like I said, you might hit my microphone. You might win that division with 3, 4, maybe 5 wins if you're lucky. Because all those teams, I know the Eagles are just destroyed right now with injuries and whatnot, but those teams they're not going to get far. These are one and done type teams unless the Eagles get all their guys back and they look really good. But it doesn't look like one guy's going to be back at all after yesterday's game because Desean Jackson did get hurt. He's out for the year. At least that's what I'm assuming because he injured like his knee or whatever due to that second hit the Eagles or the Giants had on him. And that forced him out, which I think he's out for the season. So they're not going to have him more than likely. I don't know. Maybe he can come back, at the very end of the season. But at the moment, he's done. He is definitely out for the year. So there's that. Now, I do want to go over some of this week's predictions. I want to go over some of this week's news and whatnot, though. And very, very big news that came out today is that Antonio Brown will be joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's right. He's being reunited with Tom Brady after that one game, which he looked pretty good. It looked like it was going to be a fun, fun little quarterback to receiver type of game. He looked like he was going to dominate in New England. Then he got suspended. Now he's back. Well, he's on a roster. He can't play until week 9, which he would be facing the Saints in his first game. So I would say this: if you are struggling with fantasy, you might want to pick up Antonio Brown. He's not going to play till week 9, but I have a feeling that first game that he's in Tampa Bay is going to be a lot of fun to watch with him. He's going to dominate in that game. I have a feeling he's going to get a ton of yards, a few touchdowns, but be careful because he might get kicked off that team after week 9, depending on what happens. But let's hope that he was able to fix a lot of the stuff that happened in his life. Let's hope that he was able to get better and is now a better person, because that would be great. But, it could be expected that he'll only play a couple games, depending on what happens off the field. But I'm hoping that he can definitely keep it together, and I'm hoping that he can play well with Tom Brady, as much as it sucks to say. Also, real quick, speaking of the Eagles and Giants game earlier, the Giants traded Marcus Golden to the Cardinals for a 2021 sixth-round pick. I know I can't say six right when I have the TH at the end. I do apologize. To me, this is something for the Cardinals anyway. This is let's add depth to our linebackers. Let's add more there because we don't want to be in a situation to where one of our linebackers are going to get hurt and we're going to be without anybody that's halfway decent. So I think this is just more of a safety precaution. This is just adding to the defense all around, and I think it's a pretty good trade. Um, that draft pick they traded sometimes doesn't really end up being worth anything. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you can get those like really late round draft players like Tom Brady or something, although that's pretty unlikely to have somebody like Tom Brady be drafted with that pick. But, I guess you never know. But normally it's not really a pick where we're all going crazy about it a few years later as far as the player that came with it. So I think it was a good trade for the Cardinals, and it might help the Giants too. They're clearly they're rebuilding, and I think this is going to help. It gives them younger guys that could develop into pretty talented players. So we'll have to see about that. It is the Giants, so you never know with that. And then the Saints today put Emmanuel Sanders on the reserve/COVID-19 list, which means he's probably going to be out for a few weeks, 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. So that's not good because that takes away another receiver from Drew Brees. And Michael Thomas is ruled out. It sounds like it is an injury. He's battling a hamstring injury and ankle injury. So that stinks for the Saints losing their number one receiver and another pretty good receiver too. Drew Brees is already struggling without Michael Thomas. You add this on top of it. This is not good. And honestly, if you're going to bet money on the Saints game, you might, depending on all the injuries and whatnot, what happens by the game itself, you might want to put your money on the Panthers because they're looking pretty good. Yeah, they lost to Chicago, but they're still looking good. And now they're going to be playing a Saints team that's going to be without two good to like great receivers. So, that's definitely going to hurt the Saints, and I would definitely put the money on the Panthers for sure if you're going to bet money, just to be safe. But I guess you never know. Maybe Drew Brees becomes one of the greats again. But we will never know. So I do want to go over some more injuries real quick. Then we'll get into the prediction results from last week and the week before. And then after that, we'll get into our predictions for this upcoming week. And if anybody else joins us, then we'll have them on and they'll give their predictions. If not, then we're good. We'll just find out. So some injuries I want to highlight real quick. Devin Bush is out for the year. It's unfortunate that he's going to be out, but he is out for the year after an injury in that game. Zach Martin for the Cowboys, their guard, is not going to be playing against Washington on Sunday because he suffered a concussion. So that's not good for them at all. Sam Darnold is coming back. That's right, Sam Darnold and Mekhi Becton will be playing Sunday against Buffalo. I don't think that's going to help them at all, but they are coming back. So sorry, Joe Flacco, your time is officially over. It's done. Get out of here, Joe Flacco. You're done. You're not playing. Well, for now. John Ross, wide receiver in Cincinnati, is questionable after not practicing this week due to an illness. I hope it's not COVID. It doesn't look like it's going to be COVID. So we'll have to see for sure. And it looks like Joe Mixon will be sidelined entirely this week. So that's not good for Cincinnati. I would definitely go for Cleveland this week if I was you, because I think Joe Mixon would have been the big difference in that game. So that's definitely going to hurt them. Aaron Jones from Green Bay, of course, he suffered a mild calf strain in practice on Thursday. Looks like he's going to play, but it's a game time decision, it looks like. So I would definitely keep an eye on that. So, and Austin Hooper, for all you fantasy people out there, Austin Hooper is out this week. So he will not be playing for Cleveland. So I would bench him if you haven't already, because he is not going to play. So there is that. Now let's get into the predictions from the last couple weeks. I don't remember previous week, but I can give you, the image of what the records are up to this point. We'll go over everybody's predictions and whatnot. So let's bring that up right now. Look at that. It's there. It's covering me. Oh my. 2 Inside Horseshoe logos. Wow. It's crazy. So I was 8-6 last week. That puts me at 63, 27, and 1. I was 10-4 last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago. Now I finished 8-6. Not a great week, but hey, at least I am not below 500 on this past week's predictions. Matty G was 8-6 2 weeks ago, as well as last week. That puts him at 59, 31, and 1. Still a few games behind me. We'll have to see what happens. He might join us later today. We'll see. I don't know. Alec finished 9-5. Pretty good week. He is now 58, 32, and 1. I believe he was 10-4 the previous week. So last couple weeks have been pretty good. He's climbing. He's only a game behind Matty. Matty, you got to get some picks going. You got to have a good record and hope that Alec doesn't have a great record, because if Alec has a great record, you're kind of hurt there, and he'll jump ahead of you for second. And I got to have a really good week too, or else he might pass me. And we don't want that to happen. And right behind him is Jacob. He's 10-4. I believe he was also 10-4 last week. He's had a couple weeks that was really good. He's 57, 33, and 1, which puts him one prediction from Alec, puts him 2 from Maddie, and he's a few away from me. But hey, 6 is not as much as you think when it comes to the full season. Then we got Kevin, who had a really good week at 10-4. He's now 53, 37, and 1. Trailing behind, but hey, he can definitely catch up. Then we got Bruce, who finished 7-7 last week. That put him at 48, 26, and 1. Steve the Pirate was 5-9, which put him at 45, 29, and 1. And Jonathan was going to be on the show last week and this week, although things came up, he couldn't make it, and he was 6-8 last week. Pretty good, pretty good predictions from a lot of people. Jonathan, it was his first week. I expect him to have a really good record coming up soon as he joins us for future episodes. Because, hey, you're not going to have the best predictions your first time doing this. But as you have seen some of us here, we do end up improving on that for sure. Yeah, you might have a bad week or two, but hey, there you go. So there's that. A game that, like last week, as far as, because I'll talk about a few games real quick and then we'll get into the predictions. A game last week that really, kind of messed with me was the Cincinnati Bengals and the Colts game. I was going there expecting the Colts to, get a hot start, which looked like it was going to happen at first. I expected them to score in the first few drives and then kind of put Cincinnati away pretty early. But hey, we didn't do our job early on. Our defense was atrocious in that first quarter, and then I guess the end of that last drive, allowing them to be up 21-0. Our offensive line didn't play great last week. But I'll tell you what, I would have really freaked out on Phillip Rivers if we did a show last week, because Phillip Rivers against the Cleveland Browns was pretty bad. But he played great this week. Just the way that the ball was, leaving his hand, the way he was throwing it, the way he was finding guys, it was perfect as far as like where he was throwing it to. He threw it literally right in the basket. He looked great. Marcus Johnson, I think, is coming out of nowhere. And look, 105 yards, and I don't think he had a touchdown, but he had 105 yards catching on 5 catches. That's really good. And I like Marcus Johnson. I think he's really talented. I just hope we get to see more of him because I feel like he could maybe potentially become that number one receiver the Colts haven't had. And Ty, look, I think this is it for Ty. This is going to be his last year, at least in Indy. I don't see him. And oh hi, Bug. I don't see him. Doing much more than this year. I don't really see him playing next year or the year after for Indy. I don't know. Maybe he turns it up and looks really good. But T.Y. Hilton, man, he I don't even think he's had a touchdown since last year. And look, he's what, 31, 32 years old. He's a little older right now. Age will catch up to you eventually. I love Ty, but I feel like this is the end unless he really turns it around. I love Ty, I really do, but look, it's a business at the end of the day. And just look, if the Colts are gonna release Peyton Manning, you're not safe. You're never safe. So I understand Peyton had that crazy injury, but still, they released Peyton Manning. If you're not going to play great, this is your last year on your contract, you're probably gone. So I do love what Marcus Johnson's doing. Maybe he can take over for Ty. We'll have to see in the coming weeks. Maybe it was just this one game. But anytime he's came in, he's made big plays. He's made big catches for us. So I do want to see more from him because he's not even starting. He's not playing nearly as much as other guys. So I hope we get to see him when we play Detroit more than what we have so far. Although Michael Pittman is coming back, so that might actually hurt that a little bit. I just hope we get more opportunity to see him because he might be a difference maker. We'll just have to find out for sure. Either way, I want the Colts to bring him back because I love what he's doing, and I really hope this showed Indy that, hey, he should stay around for sure. But like I said, Phillip Rivers looked great. Marcus Johnson looked great. I really liked Trey Burton this past week. I thought he played quite well. Jack Doyle, outside of that, fumble on the first drive, I thought he played a lot better than he did previous weeks. Yes, Molly Cox wasn't playing, but Jack Doyle still looked good, and I do love what I'm seeing from Trey Burton. Like I said, I'm still. I don't know about Jonathan Taylor. I love the yards after catch that he can produce, but when he's running the ball, I mean, he had some games where he's looked really good, and maybe it's on the O-line, but I'm not impressed. You know what I mean? I think it's clear they need Marlon Mack. So, because Jonathan Taylor, while yes, you're a rookie, not the most impressed with him right now. He's kind of made me go, I don't know. But, whatever. So that game was really surprising. I also think the Denver Patriots game was quite shocking, too. I thought Denver was going to lose that game, especially when you don't get a touchdown. It's like, look, you don't get a touchdown, you're probably not going to win against Bill Belichick at all. So I thought he played quite well in that game for sure. And then, so that really surprised me. Denver's kicker came in clutch. And the Tennessee-Houston game surprised me because I didn't expect it to go to overtime. But look, I always crap on Tennessee, and I always will. But Ryan Tannehill looks so much better than he did in Miami. Like, I think it's Adam Gase. So maybe Sam Darnold would be better without Adam Gase. I don't know. So if you get Sam Darnold in a place like, I don't know, let's say New Orleans next year, assuming they don't go with Jameis, because I'm pretty sure Drew Brees is going to retire. I think this is it. You got your NBC contract. I think it's it here. But I would be very curious to see Sam Darnold in New Orleans. I would be very curious because I think Sean Payton could turn him into a pretty decent quarterback. Not great, but decent. He can break sacks. He's very slippery. He is somewhat athletic. He has a big arm. So I think you get him in a place like New Orleans, maybe Indy. Get him to a coach that can coach a quarterback quite well. And I think we might see something pretty decent there. So, yeah, there's that. So now I'm going to get into some of these games real quick as I got a message. I thought it was Maddie saying something, but whatever. Now we're going to get into the predictions for this week. If anybody else joins us, so I'll bring up the predictions, get their thoughts, all that good stuff. So let's get into it right now. So obviously we can't predict the Thursday night game because that was yesterday. So let's get into the Friday game or Sunday games. And it starts off with a banger. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Tennessee Titans. Speaking of the Titans from earlier, Battle of the Undefeateds. This game was supposed to happen earlier. Pittsburgh was not happy that it got delayed. So I think they're going to come into this game a little more angry. But Ryan Tannehill has been playing quite well. Derrick Henry looks like a beast again. But they're going up against the best defense that they have played yet this year. And I think Pittsburgh is going up against the best team that they have yet this year. This game, I think, is going to be really good. I think this is going to be a really good telling. It's going to give us a strong indication of how good Ryan Tannehill is because that defense is great. The defense on Tennessee has given up a lot of points. You look at the Minnesota game, they gave up, 30 points. Jacksonville, they gave up, 28 to 30 points. Houston, what did they give up in Houston? Around 20 points as well. I know they killed Buffalo. But, they did have time off to rest their legs and whatnot. They allowed 36 points against Houston. They let Houston get 36 points. So the defense isn't great. I feel like it's going to hurt them as they play against better teams. And I think it's going to hurt them here. I got Pittsburgh winning. I had them winning when they were going to face off in week 4. So I do think Pittsburgh is going to come out on top. I just think Ben Roethlisberger is playing as good as he ever has. I think Chase Claypool is really coming out as a star. I love Chase Claypool. I loved watching him in Notre Dame. And he's coming in. He's absolutely dominating in this league right now. I expect him to have a big game this week. Same with Juju. I think he's going to have a big game too. Maybe James Conner, but is he even playing? I don't know. But I have Pittsburgh winning nonetheless in this game. I'm thinking score-wise, 38 to 24. 38-24 Pittsburgh on top. Now we're going to move on to another 1 o'clock game. It is the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Washington football team. We got the Cowboys and the football team. Dallas is obviously missing Dak Prescott. I think when they played Arizona, it clearly showed that they desperately need Dak. And I think they're going to find a way to get Dak. I do. It signed under 5 years or whatever. I think they're going to give him a big contract, give him what he wants. They're bringing him in because Andy Dalton just isn't it. And this game's going to show that. I got an upset in this game. I got Washington. Washington's going to win this game. Not by a whole lot. I'm thinking 7 to 10 points. I got Washington for sure. I just think Dallas has a terrible defense. And their offense is just not good. I think Washington wins this game. And I'm thinking it's going to be a 10-point win. I think it's a big win here. So I got Washington big for sure. I think you're going to see Mike McCarthy get fired after this year. Because he is not, in Dallas anyway, he's not as good as Jason Garrett in Dallas. I think, you went 8-8 a lot. I get that. However, you're winning more than 2 games, you know what I mean? 8-8 won't get you in the playoffs. You're not going to get to the playoffs with Mike McCarthy. I'm sorry. Andy Dalton as your quarterback. Your team's trash. You're done. That's it. So next, we got the Buffalo Bills going up against another trash team, the New York Jets, who might legit be the worst team in NFL history. I mean, there's no way to go about it. I know Sam Darnold's coming back. Good for you, Sam. You'll get a couple points, I'm sure. And, having Becton back is going to help you. But you're not going to beat Buffalo. Buffalo has lost 2 in a row. They lose to Tennessee, and then they lose to Kansas City. They're not losing to the Jets. Big win. Big win. Jets are trying to tank. They want Trevor Lawrence. It's clear. Although I think it'd be smart to trade that first pick for a bunch of assets. Maybe go to Indy. Maybe go to, New Orleans, Dallas. Find somebody who maybe is just a quarterback away. Offer that pick for quite a bit of picks and just build on the team. Add to that offensive line. Give them another weapon. Give them some defense, and you'll be fine. Sam Darnold is not the worst quarterback in the league. I think he's okay. And he's actually impressed me for what I've seen from him. But I got Buffalo. Buffalo's going to win. Buffalo's going to win big. It's going to be a 14 to 21 point win. They're angry. They're upset. They're going to get dubbed. Book it. Count on it. It's happening. Plain and simple. Then we move on to an interesting game. We have the Panthers going up against the Saints. Saints are 3-2. Panthers are 3-3. Saints, like I said, will be playing without Manuel Sanders and Michael Thomas. And I believe the Panthers are coming in pretty healthy besides McCaffrey. But they've done pretty well in the run game. Look, I thought, New Orleans was going to be really good this year. I thought New Orleans was going to be a 12-4 type of team. They're not. They're like an 8-8 at best. They're not a bad team at all. They're a fine team. I think they're okay. They might make the playoffs. It is 7, seeds. So they could get one of the 7 spots. But yeah, I got to go Carolina. I got Carolina in this game. I think Teddy Bridgewater's figured it out. I like what Matt Rule is doing. Robbie Anderson, I think, is a good receiver. His numbers have been quite impressive, like pretty freaking good. So I got the Panthers winning. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I'm thinking around 4 points, maybe 7 at most, but Carolina's got this. I think they're going to win. And I mean, like I said, this is it for Drew Brees. I think he knows it. We all know it. It's time to hang it up. Maybe last year would have been the best time to do it because this might not be the best year to end it off on. So I do have Carolina winning this one. And then we have Green Bay going up against the Houston Texans. I like Green Bay big in here. Look, they didn't play great last week. I totally understand that. They didn't play great. They played quite bad. But they're going to rebound. They're going to win this game. Here's the thing. Houston's secondary is not that good at all. They look like burnt toast a lot. So, I mean, that's like the best comparison I can give to their defense right now. I mean, that's just being generous, I think, because toast is great. But you have a defense and a secondary like Houston. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have enough time to make the passes he needs to get past the secondary, defenders for Houston. I got Green Bay. I got Green Bay by about 10. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to bounce back. He's going to look really good. All that good stuff. So, yeah, I'm going with the Packers here. So next we're going to move on to one of the last few 1 o'clock games. We have the Cleveland Brownies going up against the Bengals. This is a very difficult game. It really is. Joe Mixon not playing is going to hurt them. Austin Hooper is going to stink for Cleveland. This is going to be quite possibly the best game of the week. Just looking at it. I love Joe Burrow and what he's doing in Cincinnati. But he doesn't have an offensive line to protect him. Although they did look better last week. Even though they allowed a few sacks, I think. I think Baker, though, wants to prove that he isn't trash. Because a lot of people are saying that he's awful. I'm going with Cleveland. I think Cleveland will win this game, although it's going to be a fun game and one of the best games of the year. So I got Cleveland. Close game. Kind of like last week. I got Cleveland in a close one. I like what Cleveland's doing. I know they looked bad last week, but I do think they're going to rise to the occasion and beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I got them winning about 7 to 10 points. So now let's move on to our last 1 o'clock game, and it is the Detroit Lions going to Atlanta to play the Falcons. Atlanta had a big win against Minnesota last week, looking really good. And hey, if Matt Ryan passes it to Julio Jones, good things happen. Shocking. That is very shocking. But they're going up against a Detroit team that I think is better than what their record says. Not by a whole lot. Maybe 3-2. Maybe. Or maybe 2-1. You know, something like that. But they're going up against an Atlanta team that all of a sudden looks better. This is tough. I'm going to go upset. I'm going to go Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to get the win here. I feel like Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are going to be big in this game. For sure, you have Calvin Ridley too. I think he's going to have a big week. I like Detroit. I like Matthew Stafford. I wish Matthew Stafford was traded to Indy this past offseason because I think Stafford would be doing good things in Indy. But I got to go Atlanta. I think Atlanta is slightly better than Detroit. Not by much, but I think they're slightly better. So now we're going to move on to our first 4 o'clock game. And that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Now, Tampa Bay did just sign Antonio Brown. Odds are Antonio Brown will not be available until week 9. He might have passed his COVID protocol stuff. He might have done that already. I thought I read that he did. So he seems like he's good to go, barring any injuries or any controversial things that happen with him. But they're going to Vegas, and I think Vegas is a lot better. I've been saying this all year long when we did our predictions for the entire year. I said that Vegas is going to make the playoffs. I felt like Vegas was a lot better than what people are giving credit for. Then again, I said Detroit was a team that we should watch out for, which maybe, I don't know. Maybe Detroit comes in, wins like 10 straight. Wouldn't be crazy. It's happened before. It's happened, I wouldn't be surprised. Tampa Bay looks really good right now. This is tough. This is really difficult. I think I'm going to go. Oh, this is difficult, man. You know what? I'll go upset. I'm going to go Vegas. I think the Raiders are going to win this game. It's going to be a close game. It might rival the Bengals-Browns game for best game of the week. But I'll tell you what, I think the Raiders are going to pull it off. If the Raiders are going to make the playoffs, like I've said, they're going to have to win games like this. I think they get the W. I like the Raiders. I know Tampa Bay's defense has been really good. But I think the Raiders are going to win. So, yeah, I got Raiders. So now let's move on to the next game. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars going to LA to take the Chargers on. Both are looking for their first win of the year. And I got to go with the Chargers. I am no longer going with the Jags. Never again. I picked them against Detroit. I picked them against Miami. I've been wrong both times. I'm done. It's done. We're done. Game over. Get out of here, Jacksonville. I don't want you anymore. You have disappointed me so much. Maybe if you play the Jets, I'll pick you. Maybe if you play the Jets. I don't even know if you do. But if you play the Jets, I will pick you. But I'm going with the Chargers. I think the Chargers have been much better than what we've seen in the past. So I think the Chargers have improved. I think Herbert has played really good football. So I gotta go with them because, like I said, I love what Herbert's doing. You know, in LA, I really do. And fun fact, the Jags do not play the Jets at all this year. In fact, they play against teams that I think will kill Jacksonville from here on out. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. Chargers big. Herbert's going to have a monster game. He's looked awesome, and I expect that to continue. Now we're going to move on to what I believe was going to originally be a Sunday night football game, but then they had to rearrange, and I guess they're staying here now. And it is the 49ers going to New England to take on the Patriots. 49ers are 3-3. Patriots are 2-3. Both want to at least be at 500. That'd be the Patriots, and not below 500. I don't know, because this is obviously Jimmy G is going to New England. He's playing against Belichick, who wanted to keep him, mind you, but isn't keeping him. I'm going to go with the 49ers in this game. I got 49ers. I think the 49ers have improved a little bit. So that's cool. I do think the 49ers are going to win. I think they improved. I think they look much better. New England, I just don't have much confidence in. I didn't have much confidence going into the week, and I'll tell you right now, I said New England was going to finish third in that division. I am sticking to it. I like Cam. Cam looked awful against, Denver. He looked awful against Denver. And that offense looked awful against Denver. It's not just on him, it's the entire offense. So I'm going to go 49ers. Not big, because the 49ers do have some injuries still on a defensive line and whatnot, but I do think the 49ers are good enough to beat the Patriots. I do. And the Patriots will be 2-4, and now we're going to begin to ask questions of, is that dynasty dead? Is Cam Newton not going to be a Patriot after this year? We'll find out. And then our last 4 o'clock game is Kansas City going to Denver, taking on the Broncos. Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs are looking to get their first win since that loss against the Raiders. Denver's coming off of a weird win with only field goals. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm taking Kansas City. I think they're going to bounce back. I think that offense is going to be awesome. And I believe Le'Veon Bell is playing in this game. Could be wrong, but I do think that's going to be the case. And if that's the case, that's going to be fun. Denver did get some guys back, though. Denver does have some guys coming back. I can find that real quick for you guys, because that's going to be really good for Denver, for sure. We're going to find that news real quick. But either way, I just believe Kansas City wants to bounce back. I think, well, yes, Denver can contain the pass rush or contain the rushing of Kansas City as far as, like, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell. I think it's going to be fun. I think they're going to be able to contain that somewhat. I think they're going to be able to contain the Chiefs' pass defense too. Like the pass rush, I think they're going to be able to do a good job with that. And I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think Drew Lock is going to look really good. However, I think Kansas City is going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but they're angry. That offense is going to be very difficult to stop, I think, on the passing anyway. So Kansas City wins, goes 6-1. Denver's 2-4. Then we have to ask the question: is Denver dead? Are they done for? I don't think so. I think they can bounce back from this. I do. I have confidence. So now let's go into our Sunday night football game. We have Seattle going up against the Cardinals. Seattle is undefeated, but Arizona looks pretty good. Then again, they did play against Dallas, the worst defense in the league, quite possibly of all time. But I do like Russell Wilson. I love Seattle right now. I think Seattle is going to do really good things for this team, or for, the rest of the year, I should say. I got Seattle. I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. I like Kyler Murray, and I hope he does well because he's on my fantasy team. However, it's going to be very difficult to stop Russell Wilson, I think. He is going to win MVP this year. I've been saying it for a while. He's going to win it. He's going to look great in this game. Seattle, I got him. So now we're going to move on to our Monday night game, which is the Rams and the Bears. Bear down. Bears looking to be 6-1 and hold on to the number 1 spot in the NFC North. The Rams are looking to go 5-2 and make a case to potentially be a playoff team or quite possibly be in the running for that division. Going to be difficult because you have Arizona and you have Seattle. 49ers, maybe. We'll see if they can turn things around. I don't know. I think Seattle is, or I think the 49ers are good. Seattle's got a great coach. As does the Rams. They're playing the Bears. I think the Bears are going to win this game. I have confidence in Nick Foles. I believe in him. I love what he's doing. And yes, I get it. He had a bad interception last week against the Panthers. I totally understand that. However, I have confidence in him. Big Dick Nick is going to get the job done, I believe. That Bears defense is really good. The running game on the Bears, not the greatest. I think they need another solid running back because Montgomery is just not getting the job done. Love seeing Cole Kmet get a touchdown for the Bears. I think he's going to have a bright future in Chicago. But I got to go Chicago, man. I get the Bears winning this game. It's a Monday night game. I totally get that. I think the Rams are really good. It is in LA, so it's not going to be cold. But I got to go with the Bears. The Bears are going to win this week, putting them at 6-1 and the Rams at 4-3. But don't worry, you're still tied for second. Or yeah, you're tied, 3-way tie. So you're good. You're good. So that's all of our games. I do want to mention the teams that are on a bye week this week. Minnesota, after a disastrous performance, is on a bye week. Good for them. Miami, looking real good. Obviously going to be starting Tua coming up pretty soon. I should say next week. Miami is on a bye week. So is Indianapolis and the Ravens. Ravens and Pittsburgh, I believe, play next week. That's going to be a great game. I can't wait for that game. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. Nobody joined us today. How sad. But hey, like I said, we got Jamie Foxx over here. He's my friend. He joined me as Electro. Hey, Kevin. We're at the end of the show. As me and Jamie say goodbye to all of you guys real quick. I've been talking for 45 straight minutes. My throat hurts really, really bad. Hurts as bad as a Catholic whore. So thank you all for tuning in. You can find me on After Dark. Not this week, unfortunately, because I am going to be at a Halloween party. Sometimes you'll find me on Movie Mania. I should be on this Sunday, assuming my internet holds up. But we'll see. We'll see. Surprised it held up like it did today. It's a good job. That is good news. And, of course, you can find me on this show every Thursday, sometimes Friday, depending on when I work. Yeah. That is totally what she said. So thank you, Kevin, for tuning in at the end. Thank you very much. We will reveal what Kevin and all their predictions were next week, and we'll see if it actually holds up. And we'll see if mine holds up. So that is going to be the end. Thank you very much. As I find our outro, there it is. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. That was the wrong one.